All right, guys, welcome. Today, I'm gonna walk you through how to make beautiful sourdough bread. So we have our awesome sourdough starter that I've had for about probably 4 years now. I started back in 2020 when everything was shut down. I had to make some bread or something, right? So I've been feeding this every day since then. You can actually put it in the fridge. I'll do another video on how to maintain your starter and how to start your starter. But this is your life force for every sourdough bread that you make. So you want to make sure that you take care of this like your child, like your pet, feeding it every day. You definitely want to look after this. This is the live bacteria that's going to be your natural yeast that's going to leaven your bread. So you definitely want to take care of this. I can't stress this enough. Normally I would probably feed this about 50 grams of water to 50 grams of flour every day, because you don't want to do a lot unless you're going to make bread the next day. Then you bulk it up to about 100 to 150 grams, equal parts water and flour. That way you can add about 200 grams of your starter to make your bread, and then after that you can have a little bit left over. You always want to have a little bit left in your starter, that way you can just feed it more and just keep it alive and keep it going. So yeah, we're gonna make some beautiful sourdough bread today, so join me, let's go. One thing I wanted to share with you guys was when making bread, we always want to think of bread in terms of baker's percentages. Our flour, no matter what or how much we're adding, in this case we're going to add 1,000 grams, that's always going to be 100%. Okay, then everything else after that, you can, like I said, you can adjust these a little bit here and there, but your flour, no matter what it is, even if it's 800 grams, it's still going to be at 100%. That way it makes you figure out these a little bit easier. You'll see what I'm talking about. So our flour, we're going to do 1,000 grams, which is going to be red flour 800 grams, which is 80%, and our whole wheat is going to be 200 grams, which would be 20%. Which would equal obviously 100%. So here we have our water at 750 grams. So that would be 75% hydration level. Some bakers like to utilize a little bit more water or a little bit less water, just depends. I've found for my bread, sticking between the 70 to 80% range is perfect. It always works out pretty well. It is a stickier dough. Don't be intimidated by that. You always want to make sure that your water is about 85 to 87 degrees. You always want to keep your dough warm. I like to get one of those instant read thermometers, and throughout the stretch and fold process, just to make sure we're maintaining a dough that's nice and warm, because that'll help activate the yeast and help our bread to rise. During the bulk fermentation, you want to maintain your bread to be between 80 to 85. Definitely get a thermometer so you can definitely keep an eye on that. All right, so what we want to do, we want to add 800 grams of our bread flour. So there's our 800 grams, and then next we want to do 200 grams of our whole wheat. And then to that, we want to add 750 grams of water. And then next, we want to do about 200 grams of our beautiful live active starter here. And then one good way to tell if your starter is active and ready is you can do the float test, which you can actually take a little bit of starter and just put it in a bowl of water, and if it floats, it's ready to go. That means your bacteria is thriving. And then last but not least, we need our salt. 20 grams of salt. I like to go around the side. I don't like to dump it right on the yeast. All right, so we have our flour, our starter, our water, and our salt. I like to just use my hands and just get in there, mix it around. You really want to feel the dough, feel what you're making. It'll take some of the natural yeast from your hand as well, get it in there. What you're doing is you're really wanting that gluten structure to start forming, those gluten bonds. That's what's gonna really make your dough stretchy and just delicious. Once we have everything incorporated, just gonna go ahead and let our dough relax for about 30 minutes. This just helps the gluten to kind of calm down, everything to kind of mix together. And then I'll show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in there every 30 minutes. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna stretch it and fold it over. So we'll come back in 30 minutes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cover this for now. We'll come back in 30 minutes and check on it. Okay guys, we are back. Let our dough relax. As you can see, it kind of smoothed out a little bit. A lot of bakers do it differently. Some bakers just do the stretch and fold method. Others do what we call a coil method, where you just pick the dough up and kind of let it fall on itself. I like to do a full stretch and fold and then just maybe 1 or 2 coil folds. I think that just really helps the gluten develop a little bit easier. I'll show you that right now. What we want to do is just go ahead and lightly wet our hands, like so. And then we're going to go in here and just pull up one side of our dough. You see how it's stretching like that? That's a good sign. That means our dough is starting to relax. Just go ahead and fold that over on itself. And I like to go around maybe 2 times. Make sure you're really getting under the dough, pulling it up, stretching it over. Then we'll kind of get under the dough, just let it kind of fall down on itself. Just kind of fold it over just like that. We're gonna go ahead and do that the next hour and a half, every 30 minutes. Like I said, you want to keep this in a warm spot, preferably in your microwave, or I like to keep it in my oven, and then just make sure that you're keeping the oven light on so it just keeps it nice and warm in there. So we'll come back in 30 minutes. So here, like I said before, on our second turn, what we're looking for is it's starting to get nice and smooth. As you can see on the top, it's really coming together. It's really starting to relax. The glute's starting to develop. So next, we're gonna go on our second round of stretch and fold. So we'll wet our hands lightly. Between each stretch and fold, you can kind of see, you know, it's a good sign when it starts to, when you pick it up like that and it doesn't break apart. That's a good sign. This is a healthy dough. So we'll just grab that bottom part, flip it over, grab the bottom, flip it over, grab the bottom. And do one more round on this side. And then, like I said before, like we did before, we want to do 2 of those coil folds. So we'll just pick it up, just let it kind of fold in on itself. Then we'll turn the bowl like so. Fold in just like that. So that is our second stretch and fold. So we're gonna go ahead and do 2 more of those over the next hour. You can actually start to see some of these little bubbles in here developing. That's a good sign. That means our ferment is working correctly. So we'll go ahead and cover this and we'll come back in 30 minutes to check on it. Woo! All right, guys, this is the 3rd turn on our beautiful dough. Starting to see some bubbles form right here. That's a good sign. Really starting to smooth out. This dough is staying nice and warm. And we'll go ahead and get in there. Continue our stretch folds. My wife was pretty sad. She didn't know that sourdough was a 2-day process. I told her I was making a video about sourdough, so she thought I was gonna be ready today. And she got super sad when I told her it was gonna be tomorrow. So, sorry babe. You don't have to do this fold. I just like to fold it down in on itself. If you just do the stretch and folds, that's perfectly okay. So we want to be careful on the next fold just because we want to deflate all that gas, that beautiful gas that we have. Okay guys, we're back on our 4th and final stretch and fold. Get in here, we can definitely see that our dough is gaining some gas. So that's a good sign. It's getting very pliable, nice and smooth. So that's looking good. It's looking like a sexy dough. We want to be a little bit more gentle on this final one. So we worked so hard to create all those gases. We don't want to ruin that. Our stretch and folds are done. After we did that 4 times, we're gonna get a container. I like to do this Lexan because I feel like it holds the ambient temperature inside nice and warm. You don't have to worry about it cooling down. I'm still gonna keep it in the oven like I did before for this process, so it stays nice and warm. I'll still put the hot water in there to really keep the climate warm. This stage is very important. You wanna at least have it double in size, so however long that takes, like I said, it could be anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 hours, depending on the temperature of your home. So you really want to just keep an eye on it. And I very lightly oiled this, just so when it rises, it won't have too much resistance when I take it out later. We'll go ahead and plop that up, and then we'll just get it into our Lexan. We'll go ahead and pop the lid on this guy. We'll go ahead and ferment for at least 2 to 4 hours. You could just let it sit out after the shaping process for another 3 to 4 hours to let it rise if you really want to bake them off today. But I think if you really want to let it rest in the fridge overnight, because that'll really develop that sourdough flavor that you love. So just be aware of that, and your patience will definitely be rewarded. We'll go ahead and pop the lid on this, and we'll let it ferment. Okay guys, as you can see, it's been a couple hours. You can see that the dough has risen at least by double. See, it was down here last time, so we're almost just right at the full core, which is a good sign. We got some nice air bubbles in here, and it's nice and rounded on the top, which means it still could be rising a little bit. Doesn't look like it's going to collapse. We have some nice, beautiful air bubbles on top, so we're looking good. So now we need to pre-shape before we do the final shaping. I went ahead and got my bannetons ready. You want to make sure that you liberally flour these, because when you let it rise overnight in the fridge, which we're going to do, you want to make sure that it doesn't stick to these, because it can be a real pain in the butt when you try to take these out of the baskets and get ready to bake. So you just want to make sure that you liberally flour them. You can always dust it off later, so don't worry about the extra flour being on there. All right, so what we're going to do now is pre-shaping. So we're just going to put a little flour on the counter here. You don't want too much. You're not trying to dehydrate your beautiful hydrated dough, so just be careful. Right there. All right, divide this up into 2. So we're just trying to tighten up that surface area on top. We're gonna go ahead and do the final shaping here in about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so we're back to shape our bread here. We did the pre-shaping. Dough's looking nice. Next, let's shape our loaf. You want to bring this bottom part up to the middle, or about the middle. You want to take the side, fold it over, this side, fold it over. You want to take this top and bring it, press down, and we'll take this, just fold it over like so. Take our banneton. Place that in there. I like just to pull these up, create a little bit of tension. Just kind of fold it over like so. All right guys, time to bake off our loaf. We let it rest in the fridge and proof slowly overnight. Like I said, it's time to bake your dough when you give it a little poke and it gives it some resistance back. You can really see in here, it's a little sticky, but yeah, we'll go ahead and what I like to do is take a parchment, put it over like that, and then just do a quick little flip. You want to definitely go easy, not let all those gases and all that hard work you did go to waste. Put some designs in here. You can just score it if you want. I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick little, nothing crazy. across the middle like that. We'll pull our Dutch oven out. We've had preheating for about 30 minutes at 500 degrees. Pull that lid off. We want to work quickly. Plop our bread in. Make sure it's in there nice and snug. Be very careful, don't burn yourself. Go ahead and plop that back on. And we'll pop this in 500 degrees for about 25 minutes, and then we'll drop the heat to 450 for another 20 minutes. All right, we've had our bread in the oven, 500 for about 20 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and take this lid off. Ooh, not bad, not bad. Got a little spring to it. Go ahead and pop that back in. We're gonna drop the heat down to 450. And we're gonna check it after 15 minutes. 15 minutes is up with the lid off. Pop this baby out. Alrighty guys, as you can see, our bread's done. Letting this baby cool down before I slice into it. This is so hard to wait, but very happy with it. I think it came out nice. Could have gotten a little bit more rise, a little more spring on it, but overall, I think it's a great bread. Love the texture, the color is super nice. Guys, please drop a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hit the bell notification so you know anytime I drop a new video or go live. I have a lot of good videos in the works. You guys definitely don't want to miss out. So as always, bon appetit and cheers.
Wow.